Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Anusha Soni. The Supreme Court criticized Governor Arif Mohammed Khan for delaying the decision on 8 crucial bills by the Kerala Assembly. A bench headed by Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, stated that the governor was unable to offer satisfactory reasons for delaying his assent or rejection to the bills. The top court also directed the governor to take a decision on the finance bill passed by the Assembly as soon as possible. We had Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Venkatramani, who said that 7 of the 8 bills were under consideration and have been forwarded to the office of the President. Among the bills reserved for the presidential assent are also crucial bills which are about appointments to the universities. Is the delay in the assent to the bill mere politics between the state or the centre? Or this is a larger question about the constitutional office of the governor being misused, as various parties argue? This debate has been a long-standing one. We talk about all these aspects of this critical debate. But first, let's tell you what the Apex Court said while hearing this matter. This was a special petition that was lined up before the Supreme Court of India. Some key observations that came from the Supreme Court hearing. Well, let's talk about these key observations that have come from the Supreme Court. The top court has said that they find no reason why the governor kept the bills pending. There were no plausible reasons that were offered, and that's why it's difficult to understand why this inordinate period of time has been taken, about 22 months, for which certain bills have been pending. Some political sagacity must take over the state. We hope that some sagacity prevails. That's what the top court has said. We are here to lay down the law. In fact, referring to an old judgment, the top court also said that the law of the land is very clear and we are here to do our duty as under the Constitution. The governor cannot paralyze an elected government. That's exactly the argument. What exactly are these bills about? Let's tell you about these bills one by one. There are 8 bills which have been pending. The governor has okayed one, which is about the public health system. This particular bill, which has been given assent by the governor, mind you, after the wrap from the Supreme Court, concerns the public health bill. This was pending for 5 months. The matter was being heard at the Supreme Court, and this is not the first time that the governor's office received a flag. The Kerala Lokayukt Amendment Bill is pending for about 12 months. You have the University Laws Amendment Bill, which is pending for 23 months. You also have another amendment bill pertaining to the appointment of the university, which is pending. This one is pending for 12 months. About 7 of these bills are largely about appointments at the university, how the teachers are appointed, what kind of students are enrolled, and they've been pending for 12 months, 23 months and different periods. The Kerala Cooperative Societies Bill 2022 is pending for 14 months before the governor's office. So we ask this question, that is this about mere politics, a procedure being bypassed, or a constitutional office being misused? Wherein lies the Lakshman Rekha that should not be crossed?
അർഹിക്കുന്ന ആദരവോടെയാണോ ഗവർണർ സമീപിച്ചത് എന്ന സംശയം സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ടും ഉണ്ടാകും.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Tom Varakan of the BJP. We also have Mr. Vivek Srivastav, who's a political analyst, joining us on the show. Mr. Varakan, first to you, the kind of rap that the governor's office has got from the Supreme Court of India clearly raises a lot of questions. One of the key questions that the state government has raised is that the governor's office is being misused at the behest of the centre. Mr. Varakan.
Anushya, you need to examine at a micro level because it's a broad canvas accusation that's being made. There are certain bills that have gone to the President of India under Article 200 now of the Indian Constitution, which is an issue that the governor couldn't decide. So he has passed it on to his appointing authority. Now the first question that comes is the Lokayukt bill. Now, if this bill had to be examined by the Supreme Court, would the Supreme Court Chief Justices or judges would have agreed where you have the Lokayukt is something which the left had fought for. And the Lokayukt was appointed. Now they want an appellate body consistent of the executive to decide on a decision taken by the Lokayukt. Now, will the Supreme Court, if it gets into the act and decide that you can have a court higher than the Supreme Court to decide, and those of the judges are part of the executive, would that be acceptable? Now, Lokayukt is a very serious issue. This state is loaded with corruption. The CMO is under corruption. Investigations are going on. It's an ongoing investigation. And then you appoint people who are corrupt, which are some things that the Lokayukt has stopped. Now, when that bill has to be passed, he sent it to the president. Okay, let the president in his wisdom decide. And there's no timeline. Believe me, there's no timeline for the president of India to say that I will do it in 2 months or 3 months. The president in his wisdom will give an issue.
Mr.
The
Varadkar.
second bill is about the university issue. It was accepted norm during the Congress regime or other regimes that the appointment of chancellor and the governor is the chancellor, and he has the authority to appoint the vice chancellor. Nothing wrong in it. It was going on. But when there became a divide between the left and
Mr. Varadkar, the key question is that if the governor's office disagrees with the Lokayukt bill, or if the governor's office believes that the university appointments or the manner in which they need to be done is not right, which the government has done, the governor has all the authority to reject the bill and it can go back to the assembly. To sit on the bill for months is something that the Supreme Court has frowned upon. Point number 2, sir. You're right that there are no guidelines under which the time frame in which the governor must assent or reject a bill. But the constitutional imparts a greater duty, a constitutional duty on the governor's office to ensure the smooth running of the government. The job of the governor's office is not to paralyze the government, sir.
I will argue your case.
Yeah.
What you say is practically happening. The problem here is, now there is this land bill which is pending, and there is a demonstration outside Raj Bhavan already decided that they will go and create a demonstration outside governor's office. The governor's office has asked for clarification, which has not come. So they are trying to paint the governor as some person who is anti-democracy. The fact of the matter is, he is the filter for democracy.
All right.
Yes, he is.
Mr. Vivek Srivastav, the governor is doing the job that the constitution expects the governor's office to do.
Yes.
That if the elected government of the day is passing certain bills which are not in the larger interests of the state, the governor's office must act as a filter.
See, I'll tell you, now he talked, Mr. Varadkar talked of the Lokayukta. Let me remind everyone who is listening to this debate that when the Honorable Prime Minister of India was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, the governor kept on pushing for a Lokpal, kept on pushing for a Lokpal, kept on pushing for a Lokpal, and for complete 5 years, Mr. Narendra Modi did not appoint a Lokpal. He did not appoint a Lokpal even in his first tenure as the Prime Minister of the country. And here they are trying to get a moral high ground. Secondly, it is not a question of Kerala. You take the example of West Bengal. Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar was over there. He went to Jadavpur University. There was a big ruckus with the left students over there. Total interference in the machinery of the state. You take the example of Delhi. I mean, even that matter is going to the court time and again. It is the governor versus an elected government. You go to Punjab. In this particular ruling, the Supreme Court has quoted the case of Punjab when it gave the directive. And Kerala is worst hit because ideologically it is the left and the communist ideology which is challenging the right-wing policies of this particular government. So they are the worst hit. And let me tell you, 2 years if you keep a government in suspended animation. I mean, special mention in the court was mentioned about the finance bill.
Yeah.
Without the finance bill passed, you are actually trying to hit the governance of the state. So it is actually the question of, I mean, everybody is looking for free buys, everybody is looking for positions. Mr. Arif Mohammed Khan wants a pat on his back, maybe looking for the next position in the governance, maybe on a senior level somewhere. So I mean, what you are doing is you are just trying to please the central government, and you are hitting the state governments which are non-BJP.
But was the state government diluting the powers of the Lokayukt? I think that's a pertinent question to ask.
See, the point is over here in this particular debate, you see, you can go into the merits and demerits, which is what the gentleman sitting over here is trying to do.
Sure.
I am asking a broader perspective. Here, very clearly, Mr. Vadakan says the President of India has got no time frame. He may sign in 2 days, he may not sign for 2 years. I mean, what is he trying to say? Is he trying to say that the office of the President has also been politicized by the present central government? Are we not supposed to act and decide how the states are going to run? Is he trying to say that the President is actually not a very efficient person today? Is he trying to say that? What is he trying to say?
No, I will bring the debate to the moot question. To the moot question, Mr. Tom Vadakan, this is not just an issue with the Kerala governor. This issue has been there in the state of Tamil Nadu. This has been an issue in many states which are ruled by opposition parties. The argument here is that whenever there is an opposition party ruling at the state level, the governor's office is used to paralyze the administration of the state. You argued earlier that this is a broad stroke argument, but the fact that it is happening consistently, these matters are repeatedly going to the Supreme Court, and even the Supreme Court did not go into the merits of these bills. They said, look, the governor has the power to either accept it or reject it. He must do that, either of those options in a time bound and in a reasonable manner.
Now the argument is placed before me, so give me that time to respond to it. Have you calculated how many times the Constitution has been amended? 80 times by earlier dispensations. That's all democratic. Then, Article 356 was a weapon that was used even against the left government by Congress dispensation. No questions asked. It is the governor's report that instigated President's rule. So that power is fine. That was not derailment. That was not paralytic stroke. That was complete elimination of that government. Today, the governors are acting as filters. They are not asking the central government to incorporate 356. When involved in corruption with the scale of gold smuggling, investigation is on, and the world in large knows about it. This government tries to create a situation. Why is the financial situation of the state so bad? Essentially because even there's no salary for pension, no money for pensions. Salaries are not being given. Not this bill for 6 months. This is the state of affairs of the state of Kerala. A bridge is built 3 months back, and it comes down.
He is diverting. He is diverting from the moot issue.
By the son-in-law of the Chief Minister.
Mr. Vivek Srivastava, please go ahead, make your argument. Mr. Vadakan, I'll come back to you. Mr. Vivek Srivastava, yes.
Yeah. See, basically, Mr. Vadakan is diverting from the mute issue, the main issue, and instead of talking about why this was delayed for 2 years at length, these 8 bills, he is trying to go on to different issues. He is trying to go on to gold smuggling. He is trying to go on to you are trying to paralyze the government's backbone, which is finance and money, which is needed for the various schemes, welfare schemes, salaries for the projects to go, payments to be made to the contractors, which has been very badly paralyzed for the last 2 years because of the bill being in the pending state. Okay, that is the first part. The second part is that yes, I mean, he mentioned a particular gold scam, but then inquiries have been going on by the central agency. It has been more than 2 years and nothing has come out because the Chief Minister is clean, the government is clean, the people are clean. So you cannot keep on harping about it. Every 3 months something happens in Kerala. Mr. Vadakan comes up with the gold scam and starts crying about it. It's 2.5 saal ho gaya, sir. It's more than 2.5. It's about 2.5 years. And all your agencies have been running after trying to harass the government, the ministers, the cabinet, the Chief Minister personally. Nothing has come out. Anyway, you have to act. You cannot, in order to please the central government and trying to say we are helping make inroads for the BJP politically in the state, so we will try to paralyze the work the welfare work, the projects of any particular state government anywhere in the country, which is what the governors are trying to do today. It has become a total political position. Earlier, the governor used to be known as a nominee and the representative of the President of India in a particular state as a buffer. But today, it seems that he is working in tandem with the Home Ministry and the Prime Minister
Mr.
and the
Vivek
cabinet,
Srivastava, I am not making
party.
any comment on what the present sitting governor is doing. But if history is to go by, the governors and the powers of governors, the manner in which they've been abused, the decade of 60s and 70s and the litigations at the Supreme Court would tell you that the governor's office has been historically misused in this country precisely for the reason that the constitution did not define very clear contours of how it should be, putting that propriety duty on the elected leaders or perhaps the governor's office, presuming they would do their job much better. Mr. Varakan, you had an argument to make. Please go ahead.
Well, the financial situation of the state has been properly highlighted by the Honorable Finance Minister. She has clearly said, when we give them the funds, they're supposed to report back on the utilization. The Finance Minister is making long speeches. He does not give a report on utilization of the funds. And when you give that report, then the fund is released. This is standard operating practices in all states. Why is this particular state always screaming the funds are not coming, our finances are in bad shape? Your finances are in bad shape because you are not reporting what you got already. There is no proper auditing in that system.
So my closing questions to both. If you have last 1 minute on the show, there is a reason why the Supreme Court came heavily on the governor's office, Mr. Varakan. The governor may have all the right reasons not to assent, on a particular bill, but he could have just rejected instead of sitting on it.
Well, the question is, when the I would put this case right before the CGI and tell me on lower Kayaks, if there is going to be another body, executive body, which is going to look into what the Lokayuks say, will the Supreme Court permit it? Would there be a body above the Supreme Court to take a decision? And that is provided by the same executive. You are sitting as a judge on your own case. Would that be permissible?
Mr. Vivek Srivastava, I think the argument is circular here, and this circular argument can only be answered by the Supreme Court of the country. They have said in various judgments, but reiterating that point that BJP is making, that the governor is in a very strong constitutional and a moral position. If there is a certain piece of legislation which goes against the stated public interest, the governor must do everything possible to safeguard the public interest. That's what the Kerala governor has done.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I do agree, but then I mean the strange coincidence is that I do not know why there is a clash between the governor and the sitting chief ministers and governments only in non-BJP states. I mean, everything is fine when the state is ruled by a BJP chief minister, but what is this coincidence? Delhi, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, everywhere there is a clash. It is a very strange coincidence. I mean, everywhere the governments are not reporting to the central government, everywhere the state government and the state finance ministers are not giving a report, everybody is complaining that money is not reaching on time and projects are not being done. This is a very strange coincidence. If it was one particular state, I could have given the benefit of doubt also. But this seems very strange. This means basically the BJP via the central government is trying to influence the office of the governors in paralyzing the work of the various state governments.
Well, I would close this debate, gentlemen, by saying that it's not the first time, even if that allegation holds true with what the Supreme Court has said, not happening for the first time. And perhaps time has come that in our constitution under various articles, the positions should be far more clearly defined for any kind of political abuse or misuse on either side. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. It's a wrap on this edition of Plain Speak. Thank you so much for watching.